Well, the Toronto Raptors opening up the preseason with a big win over the Utah Jazz at Rogers Place in Edmonton. Joining us now to talk about all things Raptors is Mike Ganter of the Toronto Sun. Mike, very early on here in preseason and training camp, of course, but who's made the biggest impression on you so far?
Really, I mean, it's not a real sexy answer, but I'd have to say Pascal Siakam. He told us before he was going to be a man on a mission. He wants to be a top 5 player in the league. And nothing I've seen suggests that he's come off that. Well, maybe he may have backed off the words a bit, but all of his actions. I mean, I've watched him, scrimmage. I've watched now one game, and then little bits we see in practice, and he just seems locked in. Like he's focused. He might not be finishing everything right now, but he's getting to where he wants to get. And he did that against Utah easily. Like I said, he didn't finish everything. That's probably just a little bit of rust. But I see a guy who's really committed to getting done what he wants to get done. So him for sure. Beyond that, Precious Achiuwa has stood out as well. He just seems like he picked up where he left off in that series against Philadelphia when he was so good. And he's had a really good summer. And every time I see him on the court now, he's playing with that second unit for now. I don't know if that'll be the entire season. It's not going to shock me one bit if he ends up in the starting 5 at some point. But he's been really, really aggressive and really, really determined and impressive as well, Rob.
Now, of course, there's going to be, some lineup changes throughout the season, so the starting 5, but it does seem like Nick Nurse has the guys that he most likely wants to begin this season. There's going to be plenty of opportunity for players off the bench. Who are some of the guys that you're looking at right now in camp battles that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, like I said, I mean, Achiuwa, if that's a battle, I'm not sure it's a battle. He's made the team, clearly. It's just whether he comes off the bench for the whole year or he joins that starting 5. And I mean, injuries alone, there's going to be a spot open at some point, and I would think at this point he'd be the first guy in. But really, in terms of battles, the only real battles going on right now are for those last 2 spots on the roster, and we're talking about guys like last year's two-way guys, or Justin Champagnie, Delano Banton, and then there's DJ Wilson and Josh Jackson. And those 4, there's going to be 2 jobs for those 4. So 2 of those guys aren't going to make it. They've all played well. Josh Jackson, we got to look at him last night, or first real good look at him last night in the game against Utah, and he was strong. Again, he did it at the end of the game when he wasn't exactly playing Utah starters, but he did look good, and they do like his defensive acumen. He fits in nicely with how this team plays defense. All that said, Delano Banton, I can't see there's any way that they can keep him off the roster. He's had a good camp. He's been strong, and they're more invested in him than they are in any of the other 4. To me, it feels like the last spot comes down to Champagnie, who I would say has an edge based on what they saw from him last year and the fact that his three-point game's a little bit better than it was, and then him sort of holding off DJ Wilson and Josh Jackson.
Finally, one player that has definitely been turning some heads during the summer, Raptors first-round pick Christian Koloko. We got to see him in the preseason game against the Utah Jazz. Seems like there's a lot of positive reports around this guy. What have you seen from him early on here, and what do you think his prospects might be heading into his first NBA season?
Yeah, I think his prospects are higher than we thought even a week and a half ago. I'm working on a story right now with him or about him. And I've talked to some of the people in management, and they're, again, through training camp, he came into Summer League in Vegas, obviously raw. I mean, he doesn't have a long college background. He hasn't been playing the game as long as a lot of these guys. But he came into Summer League in Vegas and had a decent camp. It wasn't, I don't think he stood out a whole bunch, but they liked what they saw. But then he went away. He played in those runs in UCLA. And then through training camp, and he's just gone he's got so much better. And again, like I said, the management now believes he's a little ahead of where he was. And I hear the players themselves, like the veterans on the team, have been asking to have Coloco on their fives when they play, because they love the fact that he screens, they love the fact that he's big, they love the fact that he blocks shots and he gets them out on offense faster. So I see a ton of positives with him. How much we're going to see him this year still remains to be seen. It's not a secret that Nick Nurse makes every rookie earn everything he's got. I don't think you'll see Scotty Barnes minutes, but I think we'll see a good dose of Christian Koloko through the course of the season.
Yeah, it should be fun to see how the young rookie progresses. For all of Mike's great Raptors content, head over to the Toronto Sun, and you can find him on Twitter at Mike_Ganter.